descendants of the formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa. When the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, all they ever wanted to do was to come back home to Africa. Each and every one of them that you see, many of them are coming to Africa for the first time. They are bringing with them the spirits of their ancestors to put them to rest here in Burkina Faso. And that's mission number one. You have over 300 million African diaspora who are looking up to you. We are here to show you that we are with you. We support you. We are behind you. And we will not let you down. Many of us were told, don't go to Burkina Faso. It's a war-torn country. Guns all over the street. Mr. President, we want you to know that the more they told us not to go to Burkina Faso, the more we ran to Burkina Faso. Mission number 2. We have watched you, Mr. President. You stand for everything that we have hoped for in an African man. Courageous, fearless, and in their faces. France, unapologetically, you told France, pack your bags and go home. You, Mr. President, and the people of Burkina Faso have done it, and we have a responsibility to support you.
It is more than a pleasure that you chose to come here to Burkina.
Que vous ayez choisi de venir ici au Burkina. On vous a sûrement dit que c'est un pays.
They surely told you that it is an unvisitable country. They told you that it's death here. It's war. There is only negative things, and Burkina is called black. That here, only blood and weapons flow. That's what is said elsewhere. Thank God you arrived safely. You were able to be in Bobo Dioulasso. You've lived with us. Our culture is what binds us Africans. You were able to commune with many other nationalities who came to celebrate with us. Everything went very well. Now you are in Ouagadougou, and I hope that you are very well received, very well housed, and that you managed to commune with your brothers here. This is an important message that you are sending to everyone, and now you will be the ambassadors of this message when you are at home. That Burkina is very friendly. We live in Burkina Faso. What they want to make people believe is not Burkina. This is what they draw to get people to flee Burkina, and they depict all of Africa like that. For them, Africa is misery. Africa is famine. Africa is war, but it's them who are responsible for this war. We need to unite, but they have always been there to divide us, to be able to reign on us through slavery. Our ancestors experienced it, and until today, we have it fed up in our flesh, but it continues. Our great people were deported, tortured, and again when they had their war, we supported them, but they paid us in monkey money. Others were killed when they tried to stake their claim. Several of them died in their village as a result of the war. Never recognized the work of the African.
Notre mission
Our mission is first of all to awaken Africa and do better, so that you from the diaspora can make people understand what Africa is.
pour faire comprendre ce que c'est que l'Afrique. Quand je vous vois unis dans
When I
cette
see you,
association,
united in this association, I feel even more proud because that's all we are asking for today. Our fight is to be able to unite, because united we are strong, divide we are
parce
weak.
que unis, nous sommes forts. Divisés, on est faible. Ils ont toujours travaillé à nous diviser.
They have always worked to divide us, so I urge you to spread the message so that Africa can unite.
Nous avons la chance ou la malchance.
We have been lucky or unlucky enough to live through war for several years,
Et à un moment donné, il fallait dire
and at some point, we had to say enough is enough, that we are fed up. We have taken our responsibilities and we realize today more than ever that we were right to take our responsibilities. Because these armies that were installed here were never able at any time to monitor our territory, to see the terrorists who came to kill us and leave with all the means they had when we asked them to leave.
Hello everyone. Now I want us to watch this video of one and only Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore is bringing the absolute change that we want in Africa. He wants to bring Black Americans, Caribbeans back to Africa, and he welcomes them to his country, Burkina Faso. He says all those coming, it will be visa free. So I want us to watch this speech, great speech by him, then have a quick reaction at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Comrade fighters for freedom, for sovereignty and real independence, hello. Let us give thanks to God who allowed this day, day 11, to take place, and that we could meet in this bowl of the Palais des Sports to discuss the future of our homeland. Following your decision on May 25 to entrust us with the destiny of our homeland for 5 more years, be grateful for it. We do not see this as a mandate, but we understood it as a message that was given to us. And the message was very well received. And we will do everything to always earn your trust. Allow me also to pay a vibrant tribute to all these defense forces, these internal security forces, our valiant volunteers for the defense of the homeland, and all these populations who live in these areas with a strong security challenge, who are standing up. We pay tribute to them, and we say thank you for all the sacrifices made for our homeland. I ask you that we can therefore observe a minute of silence to honor the memory of all those who lost their lives in this fight. Thank you. May the souls of the deceased rest in peace, and may the injured recover. Comrades, the emotion is great, of course, but allow me to articulate my remarks in 3 phases. The first phase will concern the stage from which I will explain to you how we see this world. The second phase, we will devote ourselves to explaining to you why we must continue to fight. And then the most important step would be to briefly outline the vision for the future, if I can put it that way. During these 20-some months spent at the head of state, we have had to meet several politicians from all sides. We met hundreds of diplomats from all sides. We met businessmen from all over the world. We have been open to all these exchanges, to all these discussions, to be able to learn from the world, to be able to understand the world. And today, I think that the opportunity is very good for me to be able to explain to you what conclusions we have drawn from all these meetings that we have had with politicians from all continents, diplomats from all the continents. It's very important. The conclusion we have drawn is very important, and it should allow you to understand the world. Because often in our countries, we do not have this perspective of being able to have access to certain people who will teach you a lot of things through their behavior, through their words, and also by telling you how they see us. Comrades, God created the world with all that there is in terms of happiness, misfortune, good, evil, humans, genies, animals, and everything that goes with it. But we humans have decided to make the world something else. Among the imperialists, they have a vision of the world that I will explain to you. The world is a triangle for them. You will see the triangle in most of their badges. Maybe you don't understand, but the world can be summed up in a triangle. For them, at the top of the triangle is the empire of good. And the empire of good is them. It is prosperity. It is everything that is positive. It is they who have the right to all that is happiness in this world. It is they who have the right to all wealth. It is to them to impose their way of seeing the world. It is up to them to impose their vision, their way of life. 2. This is why, during colonization or their conquest, I would say they came to our lands and they said that they discovered our lands because for them, we are savages. We have nothing like them, actually. So they called us natives, and they are the people. They arrogate all the rights to themselves. And for them, the world must work the way they want it to. It's simple. I'll take a few examples. Look through their film. They have prepared the minds of their people to make them understand that they are the best.
We can all see the fear in those Western countries. They have exploited us for the longest time. They have made us poor people. They have made us their beggars. Now, go to the Caribbean. What do they want with the Caribbean countries? What do they want? If it's the mineral resources, they have exploited Africa. Enough is enough. So this is whatever Ibrahim Traore is saying. We have to stand by ourselves. We have to speak the truth to power. So let's continue watching whatever this man is saying.
Aspect. Who among us has not treated Chinese products as Shintox products, as we like to call them, bad products? But today I can tell you that we are all wrong because China has a fairly advanced level of technology. And it is in China that most of these countries come to obtain their supplies, put their mark on it, and resell it to us as their property. Look around you. Our entrepreneurs who are in the construction industry will not say the opposite. All their machines today are Chinese. Those who carry out transport will not say otherwise. They lied to us because we traveled around the world a bit in these 20 months to look for companies, to look for factories. And we understood that everything was coming back there. But through their communication, they led us to hate all Chinese products, to want us to understand that what is good came from them. Not necessarily anyway. It's simple. Go back in time. To better understand what I would say, we need to go back in time a little. And I hope that some people will read about the Tsars, the Mongol conquests, the Persian, Turkish, and Ottoman empires. Read their story, you will understand why the world is like this. At the base of the triangle, there are two empires. On one side, the evil empire, according to them, and the slave empire on the other side. This is how they see the world. Who do they call the evil empire? Which I just cited the origin of right away. And I told you to go back in time, go read it. You will understand why they are the evil empire in their eyes. They are fighting the evil empire. For them, the evil empire must disappear. For them, the evil empire embodies the devil. They communicate and they make it clear to their people that way. This is why, after the Second World War, in the 1980s, I would take the case of Russia, where all the stratagems were implemented to collapse it with President Gorbachev. In the United States, it was President Ronald Reagan who was in charge. Three main stratagems caught our attention. So they went to Saudi Arabia to ask them to lower the price of oil from 35 to 7 to collapse the Russian economy. Along with this, the second ploy. Don't forget something. These same people who have just left Afghanistan, supposedly saying they were fighting the Taliban. The Taliban were received by President Ronald Reagan at the White House. They were armed by the CIA. The famous Stinger ground-air missiles were delivered to the Taliban to fight the Russians. And later, they come to supposed to fight them. Go figure it out. The third ploy was a bluff. The Ideas Project, Star Wars. Read. You will understand why they got President Gorbachev to create the Polos Project, which broke Russia. Once Russia collapsed, those who claimed to be from the empire began to gloat, until this team came along with Vladimir Putin to try to bring Russia back to the surface. The evil empire. The evil empire, according to them, suffered greatly. Look at Iran today. All the possible sanctions.
It is time we start acknowledging our own great leaders. It's time we start acknowledging that God has blessed us. It is very rare to get a leader like Ibrahim Traore, a person who wants to speak the truth, nothing but the truth. Now, that's why we get so many people fighting him. That's why we get so many people upset about him, because he's talking the truth and no one wants to hear the truth. Sometime we gonna really see this. We've been brainwashed and we now think he's a cool leader. He's a person who took power from the military, but he is doing the best for his country. Let's rise. Let's see all these things. He's not a puppet.
And for this, they put a cliche in mind. The African is easy to manipulate. He is only emotion. They will always find an African to fight against his brother. And it's always been like that. Through communication, they made you hate your own skin color. In our cultures, and in many cultures in Burkina Faso, mourning was symbolized by the color blue. When a woman loses her husband, she therefore wore blue-colored outfits to mourn for a given time. They are the ones who came to tell you that black symbolizes mourning, the devil, mediocrity, everything that is bad. And unfortunately, we have swallowed this so much that when we grieve, we also put ourselves in black. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. Because this is the cliche they have in mind. They are the empire of good, others are the empire of evil, and we are the empire of slaves. This is how the imperialists see the world. You must understand this. And here, I am going to rant against certain intellectuals who continue to want to preach for the imperialists. Are they ignoring this part of the story? I'm not inventing anything. It's been declassified. You will find everything I said in the library or everywhere on the search engines. Haven't these intellectuals read that? Do they not know the history of this world? Perhaps it is dishonesty or a few dollar bills that leads them to always preach for the imperialists. Our intellectuals must be able to preach at all times, to raise awareness among our people, our popular masses, so that they understand where they come from and how they are seen by the imperialists. Let's take the history of a few wars. You followed the Iraq War, a big lie that was invented, supposedly about possession of weapons of mass destruction. Some senators in the United States did everything to have the evidence. They didn't get it. Remember that Several people resigned from the CIA after this war. Evidence has been invented everywhere. Western secret services helped them fabricate evidence. And we remember that the same Niger was accused in his time by setting up a false agreement, a false contract for the sale of uranium to Iraq. This is the same process that they wanted to bring about last time for supposedly Niger selling uranium clandestinely to Iran. That they had no proof. Even the United Nations ultimately found that there was no tangible proof of the presence of weapons of mass destruction. But they had their objective, which was to destroy Iraq. They destroyed Iraq. They created the Islamic State, just like they created the Taliban in the 80s, the armies, equipping them, and then they pretend to come and fight them. Understand the game. It's gone on for too long. We need to wake up and understand all this and become aware of our situation and fight for our future. This whole war was invented passing through Iraq, Syria, Libya, with the aim of destabilizing the world for their benefit, because no one should be able to match them. This is what we are experiencing today in the Sahel also, that they have imposed on us, because they will always find black people who will get excited and who will take up arms against their black brothers. This is what we are experiencing. They never left this model. Unfortunately, many people agree with them. Because of a few dollar bills, they sell themselves much cheaper to the enemy, to the imperialist, and they begin to fight their brothers.
Hello brothers and sisters, I hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. This is Eli from Africa, and I'm here to talk to you about the one and only Ibrahim Traore, the president of Africa and the darling of our good and very, very vibrant continent, Africa. Today I'm talking to you about the inspiration that he brings to the lives of people. He brings back the vibes that we had lost. He is the absolute leader we want. I see others saying Africa does not need a military to lead them. Africa, we need politicians, we need technocrats. But we've been having all these people in power. What have they done? They have done absolutely nothing. Now go to the Caribbean. They have had politicians as leaders. What have they done? They have done nothing. It is high time we distinguish between leaders and politicians and businessmen and technocrats. One, a politician will always be a politician. A politician ascends to power to loot, to gain fame, and to help his kings to power again so that they can continue. It's like a systematic thing. It's like a revolution that they are starting. Now, a technocrat is basically a person who comes to power with much less political mind, with the mind of growing a country or making sectors of a country work or making the entire country work. Businessmen these are people who are mainly facilitated by politicians to come to power. Then after landing to power, all they do is expand their business, become more rich, and make more money. But here comes a different person called Ibrahim Traore. Now, this is a very genius person. He's very young, vibrant. He has all the energy that is needed. In my country, I will wish never to have a president who was elected by brainwashed citizens, a president who serves the interest of those who helped him clinch to power, a president who works for the Western countries. I never want a president like that. I want someone who will speak truth to power, someone who is visionary, someone who sees his country way far, 100 years from now, 30 years from now. Not a person who lives the moment, then they mess up the country, they come with so bad IMF policies, they are given Western policies to bring and try and colonize and decolonize and colonize our countries again. This is the time, brothers and sisters, we stand with these leaders of the likes of Ibrahim Traore, Dr. Arikana, Chimamanda Ngozi, the writer. Let's stand with people like Pilo Lumumba, people who are speaking truth to power. Now, you are going to get a few people of that sort, and they will always be on the limelight, and someone will always try to eliminate them. And we have seen this. And just 1 week ago, there was an attempted coup in Burkina Faso, but it failed. I thank the Ibrahim Traore men who have stood firm with him to make sure that the people of Burkina Faso benefit from their own resources. The people of Burkina Faso benefit from their own land, from their own mineral resources. So imagine a case where someone has been fully enjoying privileges from your country. They come make you fight. While you are busy fighting your brothers and sisters, they are busy mining your gold. They are busy extracting the coal. They are busy extracting petroleum products. So this is whatever we are talking about. Let the crude oil that belongs to Burkina Faso be of Burkina Faso. Let the gold that belongs to Ghana be of Ghana. Let the petroleum that is in Nigeria belong to Nigeria. Let DRC Congo be. These people have been fighting for the longest time. Let the Caribbean be. Let Jamaica be. Why will you be interested in taking an island that is not yours? Your country has everything. In their country, they have oceans, they have seas, they have capitals that are bordering ocean. What else would they be looking in an island like Jamaica? What else do they want? We know they don't have mineral resources. We in Africa were blessed with the mineral resources, but at the same time, we were blessed with very foolish leaders who cannot even think of how they can do to protect these resources. Now, my neighboring country, Tanzania, here in Africa, they have diamond, they have tanzanite, they have very good minerals. But do you know what? Even some people in those countries have never seen diamond, they have never seen tanzanite. And if you go in the whole world, tanzanite was being extracted in Tanzania, but that's why it's called tanzanite. But Tanzania is not even the leading producer of tanzanite in the world. How comes? Why can you have a mineral that you are not the leading producer in that mineral? Where does UK get its minerals? UK has nowhere to extract gold, but go in the palace, go in the king's palace, and you will see everything is gold, made of gold. Everything is golden. So where do they get it? That's the biggest question. Now see Emmanuel Macron everywhere in West Africa. He is making very big mistakes in Western Africa. See, most countries in Western Africa do not have peace. And why so? It is because someone does not want you to have peace. Someone wants you to always be fighting so that they can clinch to power and support those bad leaders, those crooked leaders, so that when they are sent to power, they can help them get the minerals, they can help them get the gold, they can help them make your country unstable. This is the time I'm very, very glad to be living at this moment to experience whatever Ibrahim Traore is doing in Burkina Faso. How about we all support whatever he's doing? He wants to bring the children back home. He wants to bring the real Jews back home. He wants to bring the Judahists back home. Let's support him. Let's support him. Let him bring all these people who are lost. There are children who have been far and in slavery for 400 years. Thank you so much. I love you all.